right, it looks like it's live. I need to set the window capture to a sprite. It's not showing up. Okay, let's go window capture. I want a sprite, and it's not showing up on my list. So I need to open Steam back up. I'm gonna save everything and reopen it.
Are you gonna be closing out the whole stream?
No, I don't want to. Okay, window capture. Let's open up a sprite in Steam. And hopefully that should do it. Yeah, there it is. Perfect. Can I send that to the back? Oh, we have people showing up. Voracious Dev says, OMG, love the toga. I'm glad you like that, because currently that is all that's happening on this stream. Technical difficulties never end. Order, yes, and move to bottom of order, and we are good to go. I'm going to add that. All right. Howdy to everyone who's showing up. A lot of people just got an even more extreme peek behind the pixel art curtain here than you're going to be getting with the rest of this. And this particular stream is going to involve quite a bit of seeing behind the curtain, because I am making these sprites for the 7-day roguelike jam. Oh no, I fully lost a frame of this. Did it get moved to the back? What happened? That is unfortunate. What happened? I'm going to lose my entire mind. Again, hello. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what a game jam is, just cast a wide net here. Friend and I, over at Collaboratory Studios, are attempting... Oh, here it is. It just reappeared like it was never gone. I guess... Cool, okay. Friend and I are making a... Yeah, the app is Aseprite, Aseprite. It's a one of two major pixel art apps that I use. The other being Pixel Edit, Pixel with a Y. Pixel Edit tends to be better, in my opinion, for making larger images, whereas Aseprite is really powerful for its animation tools. So, and I am doing a lot of animating. That is the core of what I'm working on tonight. I am trying to create the sprites for our game. It is tentatively titled Theseus of Athens, but we really want something better than that. There has apparently been a previous submission to the 7-day roguelike jam that was just called Theseus. and so we want to shy away from that. And I'm a little bit salty because it seems like it was kind of its association with the myth of Theseus is actually very light. Unfortunately, doesn't really match the myth at all. It just there was kind of winding passageways, so I guess they named it that. So we're working on a name right now. It's Theseus of Athens. It is a hack and slash top-down roguelite. For those of you who know what any of those words mean, if you don't, that means it is a game that is in the very loosely roguelite instead of roguelike in the style of the game Rogue, which was not the first but the most popular game back in the 80s to feature randomized levels, enemies, items. Everything about it was different every time you played. And it has spawned a whole genre of roguelikes and roguelites. So, our game, you traverse several layers of a um, randomized labyrinth like the one in the myth of Theseus and the Minotaur. You are playing as Theseus, the main character of that myth, trying to find your way to the bottom of the labyrinth to fight said Minotaur. Um, Voracious Dev in the chat asks, how would you explain the difference between roguelite and like? Um, the difference, as I've been told, is it honestly has a lot to do with how close you stay to the original Rogue, which was a turn-based, very light on graphics game. Like literally, your character was just a little at symbol that walked around the map, and so the turn-based nature of that is a really big thing. Another thing is whether or not there is any progress that carries over after death. Rogue and hard roguelikes tend to be very unforgiving in their replayability. You just start from where you were. Maybe you've unlocked some things, but that's all. I call our game a roguelite because it is not turn-based is really what it means to me. It's more action-oriented, and so to be on the safe side, to not upset purists, I just say roguelite because it doesn't cost me anything. Um, but it is a hotly debated thing whether what makes something a roguelite versus a roguelike. Um, so what I have here, part of the technical difficulties that I've run into trying to make this happen is I had made uh, earlier this week, as you can see on my screen, a skeleton, literal, just like the joints of the arms and the poses that I am going to make our humanoid characters, such as Theseus himself and the skeleton monsters that he fights. Um, Maybe other things if it comes up out of these poses. Just draw them on top of it in a separate layer. And what ended up happening late last night was that I was prototyping our maze generation before starting the actual jam in earnest this week, and I discovered that my sprite sizes weren't a good match for the maze itself. That they either appeared way too small on the screen, or if you scaled them up to the right size so you could actually see your character, you could no longer fit through the passages of the labyrinth. So I had to completely redo my system here. I have underneath this a layer of my worse stick figures from before. I was planning on doing some new work on them anyway, just to make more believable poses. You can see there's kind of some weirdness happening there. But I had to scale everything up so that there are more pixels. It's a little bit trickier, and I have made at least like semi-believable joints, which is a plus, but it has very much delayed a process that I thought I was completely ready for. Thought I had effectively planned ahead for once, and there's just always something. Um, so our game Theseus, given that it is based on this Greek myth, and we have to make all of the assets pretty quickly. We wanted kind of a simple visual style. We opted for stylistic purposes to do something based on the Greek red figure pottery, where you have, I think this might be black figure, red figure. It's a little bit mixed up. We've opted to have an orange background for everything, which I just have as a separate layer in here that can be turned off for when I actually export it into the game, because that is the background of everything in game. And we just have a few colors. This orange, this brown, which matches closely to the shading color that is often used on these Greek urns, and obviously black. And there's a gray for the walls of the labyrinths that I'll be showing off at a later time, not in this stream likely, but just on my Twitter or on the Collaboratory Studios Twitter to show our progress. I'm always finding little things to tweak here. I'm just going to leave that alone for now. And, sorry, my wife made a noise. Crisis averted. Okay, so anyway, I want to get into it here. As previous viewers of the stream should know, or as anyone who has read the title of the stream knows, I often drink thematically appropriate beers on stream. So right now I actually have a little bit of ouzo, which is a strange Greek liqueur. What's weird about ouzo is it turns white when you water it down, which I have watered it down. It's pretty strong stuff. It tastes like licorice, just straight black licorice as a liquid. Yeah, so that is what I'm starting out with. I have, for later, some beers imported from Greece, and I'm excited to try those. All right, so to start out, I need to figure out what is just going to be the regular body shape that I'm drawing on here. I have kind of a big pixel brush just to play around, get something roughly person looking over these bones. I should create another window real quick, actually, just to show some of my source material here. So Theseus Greek face. Let me pull up one where his penis is not out. That's a frequent problem with these Greek vases. All right, so here's one where only the Minotaur is nude. I think that should be acceptable for stream. It's animal nudity. You've seen that. I'm gonna just open up the image in a new tab so I can zoom in on it. Here, yeah, let me get a capture of that. Okay, can you see that on stream? Great, yeah. So what we have here is we've got Theseus. He's wearing a little skirt, but he does have giant nipples, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. Zach just said Froyo walked into the room, which has me concerned that people can see our floor, which is horrible. Yeah, and we've got the Minotaur here. I will be drawing the Minotaur either later in this stream, or if it ends up taking a while to do Theseus and some of the other enemies, I'll be doing the Minotaur. I'll probably start the Minotaur on stream. I'll do Theseus and then go to that, so I can keep it a little bit more interesting rather than just dinking around with it. Zach says, oh, I can see him, but not the floor. Zach is a Saturn 6 former Twitch streamer. We're all rooting for him to make a comeback. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing this version of Theseus where he has a little bit of a skirt on. I am going to keep him shirtless for authenticity in the game, and people are just going to have to deal with that. Yeah, so let me remove this. Go back to A Sprite. Great. So what I'm hoping to capture, as you can see in this image, is all. I was making some jokes about this on Twitter earlier. Every picture of Theseus in Greek pottery has just the biggest butt, just an absolute dump truck. Uh, feel like Theseus just really took pride in his butt, and anytime somebody tried to depict him, he made a big deal out of making sure he was thick enough. So I'm going to make sure to honor Theseus and his big butt by just giving him. There we go. I think that's authentic. That's an authentic Greek behind there. Um, oh, I am doing the legs backward. I was working into the assumption that that's a little better.
The camera loves you.
You have Froyo?
Oh yeah, I have already holding him.
This is my cat Froyo. Say hi to Froyo. All right. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how Theseus is turning out here so far. Actually, this is a decent shape, decent person shape. Make sure he's got his thunder thighs here so that he doesn't roll over in his grave for not being depicted properly thick. That's a little too big. Okay, that's gonna have to do for now. Can't spend the whole stream on Theseus's thighs. Make his arms nice and muscular. A little smaller on the forearm. That's already an improvement over the. You can't really tell how human it's going to look just based on the stick figure here until you start actually making some features. So get him some okay looking arms. I spent some time researching, just Googling neutral poses on Greek vases, and my conclusion was that nobody knows how to stand normally in ancient Greece. And so I've tried to honor that with my designs here, giving him just a completely bizarre neutral pose, reminiscent of how people stand on Greek vases. He's kind of got his arms out like he doesn't know what to do with them, like he's being awkward for a picture. Yeah, perfect. He's giving a little thumbs up. He's really awkward in a picture. And now it's time to give him a little bit of like a face shape. This could be kind of difficult to see how it's going to look before it comes together. I'm trying to do this kind of exaggerated profile like they often have. So get them, just kind of round that off to start with. Oh, I see. So Greek paint vases will typically have like a little bit. I'm gonna actually make my brush a little smaller. So Greek vases will typically have like a little bit of a go in for the neck and then have the chin kind of sticking out a bit. It's not like a flat face like that. You've got a little bit of a Jay Leno chin on all of them. Does anybody know who Jay Leno even is anymore? I was a teacher for about a semester before I burned out on that pretty hard. Maybe I'll try it again someday. Maybe I won't. Who knows? But I had to teach this piece in my composition class where I think I just need to do finer detail to get this face right. I can't use a big brush like I was for the body shape. That is looking the right kind of silly to me. He's got a really big head compared to his body, which is pretty normal for pixel art, but I actually don't like it for this Greek style. That's not authentic to how they were. So I think rather than making his head considerably bigger than it already is, which is kind of the right size, I'm just going to sculpt it to give him his neck. I may even have to go onto the base layer and make some parts smaller. Yeah. Oh, so real quick, before I make any edits to the base layer, I'm going to save this as a different file, so I don't lose this when I have to make some skeletons later. Yeah, and then I'm going to bring it people who have watched this before know that one of the funniest parts of pixel art is how much time you spend putting one pixel on and taking one pixel off. That never changes. Oh, and see, I've got a little thing there on accident left over on this layer where I can just go ahead and put a nose. I didn't finish what I was saying earlier about Jay Leno. Everybody needs to hear about Jay Leno. So, I had to teach this reading. It was kind of an older reading, and the writer made a joke about something being such a clear cliche that you could almost imagine Jay Leno making a hacky joke about it, and like made an attempt at what that hacky Jay Leno joke would be. And I asked my class, all of whom were, freshmen in college in 2019, how many of you even know who Jay Leno is? And one hand went up. This is not a whole thing like, oh, the Zoomers don't know our culture. Jay Leno can stay in the past. I do not particularly care. But I just think that's interesting because he was everywhere. He was unavoidable, and now just nobody knows or cares. Kind of like Ozymandias in the poem. Maybe he was a little bit more famous even. But his empire just crumbled to dust. We don't even have a giant Jay Leno statue crumbling out in the sand to commemorate him. Anyway. So now I need to draw on some details here. And, Voracious Dev in the chat says, we're the same age, and I don't really know who Jay Leno is. That's fine. He was a late night host. And that's really all you can say about him. He had a notably big chin, which he's kind of famous for. He had a really memorable voice that I'm not going to attempt an impression of. He's got silver hair. I don't have a bottle opener up here. Do you? Yeah, I'm going to find out if one of these is a twist top. It's not this one. No, can you please go over and get the bottle opener? I'm sorry. Okay, well, I will be trying some actual beer from Greece in a minute here. All right. Wittgenstein's Mister in the chat says there's a debate about whether or not Jay Leno is alive or dead. I'm pretty sure he's alive. I'm not going to wade into that any farther. Wittgenstein's Mister in the chat said a bit ago, needs a bigger booty. which I think is also what Theseus would say, and so I am going to attempt, now that I've made the body a little bit more, to make the body a little bit more. Another thing in here, H. Blanco 36 says that Theseus is looking like the Theresa May meme where she dances on stage so awkwardly, and I cannot unsee it. You're so right.
Anyway, this one just had a pull tab.
Oh, how about that?
But I can't figure out how to open it.
Got it.
That's innovation. Here's the bottle.
This actually... Oh, that was yours?
No, this is
Oh.
yours.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted some.
Yeah, so this drink is Mythos Hellenic Lager. Looks like this. I'm going to be real with y'all. This is like the Bud Light of Greece. I do not care for it. I'm going to pour it into a glass nonetheless. Maybe it'll be better out of the glass. I don't think that can fix this. Saturn 6 says at least it's on theme, which, yep, that's why it's here. Yeah, C10, my wife, says it tastes like Bud Light. Yeah, that I was not just like, it's not just the Bud Light of Greece in popularity, though I think it is. It also, you could pour this in a bottle and tell me this was Corona that had been out in the sun, and I would not question it. I was doing some research on Greek beers before I did this, and there are so many cool and interesting Greek craft beers, and all that you can get in America is Mythos and this other beer called Fix Hellas, which I do not remember if I've tried at any of the Greek restaurants we go to around here, but
The one we go to.
I mean, there are others. They just don't have Greek beer. But it's also a lager, so I don't have my hopes up. Isidore, who is my partner in the Game Jam and at Collaboratory Studios, so say hi to Isidore in the chat, who should be working on level design right now and not calling the FBI on me for showing labels on stream. This is free advertising. But oh well, it's beer. What I wanted to have was discontinued, which is something that Isidore here and I actually used to make trips across the Minnesota border over into Wisconsin just to get, which was Dogfish Head Midas Touch, which was a beer that Dogfish Head, great brewery, and they have other good beers that they haven't discontinued, made with the help of an archaeologist who studied ancient pots in Greece for the chemical contents of what was on them and figured out recipes for the like fortified wine wheat drinks. Kind of honestly pretty similar to how you might make a barley wine today. And they like made something really authentic to the ingredients you'd find in those that was still their own recipe. It had like plums and dates in it and a little bit of grape and strong like wheat ale flavor. Mix that all together. It was really good. It was incredibly strong. It was one of my favorite beers, and I hope that they bring it back into rotation soon. I think they discontinued all of the other beers in that ancient beers series before they discontinued that one, and now it has apparently finally gone out of sale. So I'm going to copy this brown color over here because I don't have a proper palette in A Sprite. Got that on the wrong layer. I'm not, I think, going to be doing the attack animations on stream tonight so that I can get a little bit more variety into the stream. All right, so what I'm doing currently is I'm looking at some different Greek pots because the one that I showed on stream uh, does not have good hair, frankly. I need a better look at... Okay, so I've got a bunch of layers going here. I can go ahead and delete the original stick figure. I'm just going to look at some of these others here and try to get a better sense of what his hair should look like. Okay, I'm going to actually pull this back up so you all can see it. Put that on stream. This one has a little bit more of like a Laurel's look to it. It's got a little bit of a bowl cut with some kind of helmet on top. And I think that is the look. I think I'm gonna, well, I don't think I'm gonna keep the helmet, honestly. I think I'm gonna do his hair like this and replace the helmet looking thing with more like what Ariadne here has with a laurel headband. And I think that'll be pretty good. Oh, Saturn 6 says a store here in Memphis has it for sale on their website. The Midas Touch beer. That is correct. I think, or at very least, if it's not out of rotation, I mean, if it's not back in rotation, other places, still have some. When I looked on like Total Wines search and like Beer Finder, it was telling me the closest I could get it was in like Tennessee. So if you see it, Zach, while you're in Memphis, if you snag some, the next time I see you, you will remain my favorite brother. You will no longer compete with our third brother that mom and dad didn't tell you about. All right, so I'm going to make a new layer for the coloration so that I don't mess up anything that I already had. And just give him too much of an angle there. I liked the kind of feathered look they had for his hair. Going to make fewer and better of those. I've said it before, one of the things that I love so much about pixel art is I just do not have particularly steady hands when I try to draw. And pixel art is very forgiving on that front. I don't have to erase anything. I can just mess with it until I like it, and that's huge. I mean, I have to erase it, but I don't like lose anything by erasing it. You know, there are no smudges. Um, Other forms of digital art have the same effect, but it's nice in pixel art because you have to do so much playing around to get it right. Alright, so how do I want to do the eyes here? There are a number of different shapes I could use that. Do I want it to be a square? Do I want it to be a longer rectangle? This is one of those cases where one stray pixel makes a big difference. So on Greek vase art, the eyes look kind of like this, kind of like big fish eyes. Right at the front of his face here. Yeah, that's a no-go. That just looks so busy. I'm not feeling that. No, that doesn't even look like an eye when you do it like that. It's either too big or too small. That's the way that pixel art is not particularly forgiving. Okay, so that is a way that I can get a little bit more of a realistic eye effect, closer to the strange eyes of Greek statues. Not Greek statues, Greek vases. Is if I give kind of an eyebrow. That looks like he's wearing shades. So the other medium that I worked in the most before I started doing things related to game dev is writing. I actually got my master's in that, like a real dummy. And there's a saying. I'm currently Googling who said it. And as imagined, it's pretty wildly misattributed to all kinds of writers. I've heard it Mark Twain. I've heard it Ernest Hemingway. Heard it Oscar Wilde. This article on Quote Investigator is saying basically a lot of authors have said similar things, but this exact version that's attributed to them is not. Anyway, the quote is I won't bore you with out of sequence explanations. I do that so much. Is a friend asked this writer, who could be Oscar Wilde, could be a number of different writers, oh, you've been writing all day. How much have you gotten done? And he said, I spent all morning putting a comma in and taking it back out. That is really how it feels sometimes with pixel art. As you can see here, I've just been making like 3 different versions of this eye. Putting a pixel on, taking a pixel off, trying to see how I feel about the shape. What I'm trying to do is get something that's going to scan well from a distance and not just look cool from this close up, which is what's making it so hard. And so I think as much as I like all of these things with the eye outline, I am going to have to, no matter what, have a eye that is more than 1 pixel wide, so it's very visible. Oh, that's getting close, to be honest. And I'm getting farther away again. I think this might be it. I'll have to take a look at that. Never mind. I hate it. Wow. This is about the scale it's going to be at in the game. I see it from a distance, and this eye doesn't look right to me. I think that's it. I think that simplicity is going to be the winner to me. Anybody have Wittgenstein's Mistress says maybe make the head 1 or 2 pixels bigger. I don't think it's a matter of room, or I would. I think it's that the eye is either too large or too small. So changing the size of the head wouldn't change its scale with the rest of it. That is a good. That is typically a solution that works. I just don't think with this eyes here. Adibabu says, can you pixel in pixel situation like an iris? I could if there were more colors available to me. Maybe I'll try a brighter orange. I haven't done too much orange inside the sprites since I started adding oh, you know, that's in the wrong place. It looks super droopy. But oh, we might be onto something. You might be a genius. I think that's a winner, actually. Um, I don't know. Sound off in the comments. Do you think? Okay, that pixel, that one. Take it off. Put it on. Take it off. Put it on. This is literally the optometrist. Which eye is better? I am going to make the head just like a pixel larger in this direction because the eye was... Oh man, that goofed it all up, huh? Okay, so let's see. I need to bring the nose out. Now he's got a giant schnoz. Should I bring this back a pixel? Whoa. That doesn't look right. I'm going to leave it how it is for the moment and work on his other facial features, and maybe that'll help. So another thing Theseus tends to have is a jutting chin. He seems to have that even more than other Greek figures, and so I can't leave that off as much as I don't like how much it makes him look like the old man from Courage the Cowardly Dog. I bet I can do a better job of it than I just did. Okay, I think that's going to be as close as I get to a Greek pottery style chin is giving him just a jaw that goes way down. Because, yeah, okay, that does it, in my opinion. That's the winner. Give him that chin down here. It looks better with a mouth. The big chin does. I think I can make the mouth a little bit smaller and that'd be more authentic. And we have a face, in my opinion. He looks kind of ugly, but like, have you seen Greek face paintings? They all look kind of ugly on them. So now it's time to give him just a little bit of clothing. Not too much. Give him, authentic to the painting, some visible nipples. And a little... Oh, I'm on the wrong layer here. And give him a little skirt and proper thickness. Okay, I made him too thick. That looks like a Theseus to me. It's a toe to tip. That's a Theseus. Give him some sandals. Sorry to all of you out there for whom Theseus being barefoot was an important aspect of our game. We do still want your business, even though your priorities are a little bit strange. We still love you. Wittgenstein's Mister says he's wearing khaki Daisy Dukes, which is, man, I do think that this needs to be more visibly a skirt by just changing some of the pixels there, because it sure did look like khaki Daisy Dukes. Wow. All right, that's a little better. All right, and so here is our base Theseus. So now we're going to see how it looks to animate him, because after all that work, it still looks like this on the rest of the... Oh boy. All right, so I'll go ahead and turn this background off so that I can effectively onion skin. And this is why I like Sprite for animation instead of Pixel Edit, is it has this onion skinning feature that's really crucial. Oh, it doesn't onion skin. I need to remove the tags here. I need these tags for when I import the animations into Unity, but they get in the way of onion skinning. Actually, I guess I don't need the onion skin here. What I need is another feature that is still really good that Sprite does better than Pixel Edit. Just copy from both layers. And as you can see, this looks completely wrong. That's fine. I'm going to go ahead and temporarily make these layers a little bit transparent so that I can see the bones underneath. Huh. No, this is going to give me some difficulty. That's right. I remember how I wanted to do this. Untransparent that and also unpaste it. what I want first and foremost, I'm actually going to copy this merged now that I know how it should look. Take everything off this layer here, and I'm going to just paste this head onto here. Oh, did I leave any of the pixels the same to where I could find where it goes? I can't just post it in the same spot because, as you can see, the head is a little bit forward on this pose because he's leaning forward. I think I kept the position of the back of the head the same. There we go. Okay, that looks pretty funny, honestly. That looks pretty goofy. Put this on the proper layer down here. And now, because I'm not needing to draw facial features on a separate layer, I'm still going to take advantage of having two layers here because now his limbs are overlapping in a way that would be really frustrating if I didn't have multiple layers to work with. Voracious Dev said, this is making me wonder how well something like Adobe's Bone Tool would do with pixel art software. Some Unity developers do their sprites that way. They'll create kind of a physics skeleton and they'll move the parts around, almost like a flash animation. I don't particularly care for doing that. I think it often looks good. It's just not my style. And this funny bobblehead, looking like you dipped an animatronic in acid up to the neck. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to do the lower layer here. Same way I did it for the other poses. And I am going to try to do this whole layer at once because, or at least just the torso all at once, because I can copy that so onto the other leaning forward poses. So I need to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pixels across for his torso. I'm not even going to think about that right now. But he is leaning a little bit away from the camera, and so although the Greeks didn't care too much about perspective, they had some sense of it, and people expect you to care a little bit more about perspective than the Greeks did now. So it's not going to be exactly 11 wide here. It's going to be arced along there. So that's 12 actually. Now I'm just trying to make sense of it. I'm going to look up, I look up all kinds of Greek pottery to practice for this because it's a style, although the simplicity of it is going to help with making assets quickly in some ways. It's very different from the way that I normally draw. Okay, these ones just have their penises out, and if you are too excited about that or offended by it, I'm sorry that you can't handle art, YouTube, Twitch, but let me see here. Voracious Dev says, how excited is too excited? I think when you see these penises, you will see any excited might be too excited for these. Okay, so these, they actually are kind of turned toward a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to take this window off and compare it to mine. I do think I need to thin that just a bit. It is a bit thinner than how it shows up normally, but I think I actually might just let it be 11 across. By how it shows up normally, I mean compared to other Greek figures on vases, they tend to be wider than that. Especially Theseus, you know, he's wide. All right, so I'm doing the lower layer first. And so what I have is I have my torso worked out. So I'm gonna just copy it, make sure I just only cut that, yep. And I'm going to go ahead and paste that on the rest of these because that doesn't change in the rest of these running poses. I guess I actually don't need to do anything on this one, and I should leave it blank to remind myself that this is the same neutral pose that is frame 3 here, and I can just copy it over and that will be perfect because, oh, I need to even fix that. Yeah, I can just copy that because it's just the neutral pose in between this running and that running. Yeah, you can't draw on layers while they're invisible, which is unfortunate because I need to see where this arm, this background arm is. I'm going to use a smaller brush to show that it's farther back there. Okay, it's got a shriveled little arm there. That doesn't look great. It'll be fine. I want to show, like the Greeks do on the pots, use these other colors to like create boundaries. Is that the body boundary? Yes. All right, so create that there. And then it is the back leg that's forward, so I should do that while I'm at this. And he looks so funny right now. This is pretty funny to look at. Hopefully it won't be when I'm finished. Does he look roughly the same size there? Yeah. Let's keep the feet the same. If some things don't stay the same, that is a bigger problem. Just for how the eye kind of scans the animation going forward. So I actually want all the feet to be identical, and I think they're a little bit different even on this layer. Yeah, they were. Copy his nipple. So let's get those feet. That's a normal thing to say, right? This is actually not my first game based on ancient mythology. I have a project that is currently scrapped. Not scrapped, delayed. Currently delayed. Called Sumer Gilgamesh Bros, which I was also making with Collaboratory before we ended up getting really excited for our current work in progress, Knavish, which a lot about this game is actually helping prototype for. And there was a lot of similar, I had a sprite base for that where I was drawing Gilgamesh in all of his poses, and it was always funny to go in at the very end of it and add the same straps on the same sandals at different angles. So I have a weird amount of practice with this particular aspect of this process. Yeah, that looks right. And now I'm going to do a level up. I can go ahead and make this. This is why I wanted these. Oh, that's an onion skin. I was like, why is this tormenting me? Um, oh no, I was drawing to the onion skin with the other arm there. So I actually need to bring this down. I'm actually just going to redo that because I can. With pixel art. Get a kind of just, yep. Goes out too far. I actually kind of want to stop it right here, and that'll be where his hand is. Forgot I was using a smaller brush for the back arm to show you it's smaller. Looks kind of wrong right now, but it won't when it's done. How did I do his hands here? Go ahead and put a hand on there just so it looks a little bit. That doesn't look better. It's a new game on this stream. It's called Don't Draw a Penis. And what you do is when you're trying not to draw a penis, that's all you can draw. That's how the game works, and I'm winning it right now. Okay, what I'm learning is I can't just have that sticking out there. It needs to be at a different angle. All right, that'll do for now. I can live with it. All right, turn off layer 5 there, go up to layer 6, and draw his front arm. That's similarly to how I did the other arms, where I do give a few extra pixels on the upper arm and keep the forearm that. And then I'm going to need to do some internal outlining to differentiate it from the rest of his body. This is nice because I can also kind of correct it a little bit. I ended up with some kind of funky sizing here, and I can just draw over that. So I'll just do the whole arm like that and then erase what I don't end up needing. Perfect. These kind of mitten hands here are giving me some trouble. And then I need to do his outer leg. Try to honor Theseus's wishes here. Okay, so I had kind of skinny calves, just really big thighs on all these paintings. I'm just going to rotate this and fix it. Oh, and speaking of fix, my other beer for tonight is called Fix Hellas. Hellas being what Greeks call Greece. Let me make sure I've got this held up right here. Yep. How much are you? Oh no, that is coming out of there. Got some beer on my toga, which I do not think is the first time that's ever been said by anybody. Oh, I actually like that a lot more. Did you want to try that? It's still a lager. It's still just a regular, plain beer. But it's closer to, it's like your Sam Adams Boston Lager instead of a Budweiser, Skunky Bud Light. So Isidore just came in the chat, accused me of drawing Theseus in blackface, which I am going to ignore, but except for acknowledging that it is there. But also says, I'm giddy AF. I just went off road with the code and it worked first shot. Could you tell me, is that in a state where I could download the latest build? And I've actually, once I draw the skirt on him here, will have reached a decent stopping point for my stream, I think, in pretty soon. And that'd be a good time to show a build if we have any. There's probably not any gameplay to show, but just the mazes and the title screen I think are all looking pretty okay. But I haven't looked at the actual build of the game for the past couple hours while I've been working on assets. So Isidore, what are your thoughts there? In the meantime, I'm going to work on getting this skirt over to... Oh, I can't forget his nipples. You can't see them. Adibaboo in the chat said there's a weird crook in his arm. You're so right. The elbow is a little bit wrong. I have the chance to fix that because nobody can see how it was if I just get rid of the orange outline. So I can fix where his elbow should be, make that look better, and get rid of the crook in the process. Bless you. Okay. Still not ideal. The elbow should be about back here. Just eyeballing it. Anatomy has always been my worst drawing. It's the curse of my assistants getting like realistic animation of anatomy. I normally just draw little pixel dudes who are ghost shaped and I get away with it, but not this time. Isra says, I didn't accomplish anything exciting. It just spawns a bunch of the clay pot sprites. Oh, cool. That is exciting to me compared to the way we were doing it before. But is it messy right now is more what I'm asking. Like if I just wanted to show people the labyrinth shape that we have, is there like a bunch of like scattered like spawners that don't look normal or like code that's all over the place? It's gonna look weird. Or could I just kind of show off? Great, yeah, I'm gonna download the most recent build. Just have that running in the background while I finish up his clothes here. It looks like I'm not going to have a chance to put his nipples on here because his arm is covering him. So that's sad for all of you who don't get to see Theseus's nipples. All right, gonna open this up in Unity. So there's no colliders. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna scroll over it, even not even control the character. Sync with the most recent version. All right, I'm excited to show this off. Let me just switch my display capture to Unity. I'm gonna have to just do window display capture, it looks like, because the window capture isn't giving me. So hold on. It's taking a second, but it's gonna be ready in just a moment here. Display capture is not working right. It should be showing that Unity is open and not a sprite. So, oh, here we go. Got it. Perfect. All right, so here is our project here. We've got some scenes, got a title screen here. If I click play on it, it's just, oh man, we need to recenter that. This is what happens when you make a game in 1 week. Things keep getting away from you, especially when we're just sending versions back and forth between two people. But those of you who have been here for previous streams saw that I was drawing on a pot. We have decided to reuse that asset for this. For the title screen here, I'm actually going to, for a future one, zoom out from this and have it kind of sitting on a windowsill. You can see like maybe like a low-fi city of Athens, like the Acropolis on the background. And then take it to tier 1.1 here. This is just kind of how our game is going to look. Let me make sure that the window capture is getting it right. Yeah, perfect. So you're in this labyrinth. You start out at the entrance. I was warned that the well, the inputs aren't functioning for me. Move the camera or anything. Where's my controller? Oh, Isidore says that doesn't look right. It didn't publish my changes. That is honestly our catchphrase in trying to work together on this. Are you sure maybe your changes aren't on tier 1.2 here? %100 positive they're not there. Okay. I thought I had reloaded. So we've got Crate Manager, Pot Manager, and Chest Manager. And this here. These aren't your changes? Oh, what I had to do was I looked in the Collaborate window here, went to History. Yeah, it says that you only uploaded one change 41 seconds ago, so I'm guessing that's new. Um, and 2 changes about 7 minutes ago. I'm guessing there were more than 2 changes. Gonna sync again. Yes, reload the scene. There they are. You see the pot sprites? It looks like you'll need to put the point no filter on them because they're kind of blurry like this, but that's a really super easy fix. Um, Now inputs should work. Yes, they do. And so you see this Theseus that we've been drawing all night. That is going to replace this stick figure. His run animation is going to show him, running. You'll be able to smash these pots. Oh, yeah, I was warned colliders don't work yet. We have prototyped this, and they should in the future. Um, it's probably going to be something I'll want to address once the stream is over here. But yeah, these animations I've been working on tonight, they're going to be what plays as you run through this labyrinth trying to find the exit. There are going to be monsters in here which had the technical difficulties which delayed the stream not happened would be what I was drawing tonight rather than Theseus himself. But the entire point of a game jam is learning to deal with these delays and learning to keep your scope small enough that you can suffer through them and still have a viable product at the end. And I still feel good about our chances, even if it got in the way of my stream. I don't think it's going to get in the way of us having a good game here. So, oh, and you see this cut off at the bottom here. I think we're using an older labyrinth. I have a fix for this, Isidore. So I'll get you that. I'll get you the updated version of this labyrinth. All right, but I think that is going to do it. I need to focus hard for the rest of the night on getting assets for tomorrow ready. Um, so, great, yeah. Uh, Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. This has been so much fun. And maybe I'll do some kind of a developer stream when I'm playtesting this, hopefully on Saturday. But I am going to keep some of the internal stuff a little bit more under the hood just because we're pretty new to this and don't want to look dumb, frankly. So we're figuring it out. And thank you so much for tuning in. Y'all have a great night.